Okay, so just going to do a short ride around Kenilworth and a bit of countryside, testing out this new microphone setup. I've got a DJI Action 4, which I've had for a while, mounted on the chin of my showy adventure helmet, and velcroed just inside the front of the helmet I've got the DJI mini mic, just the basic one. Cost I think £28. It's the same as the ones I use for my research work. I go out to museums with a pair of those mics and record curators, academics, visitors talking about the museum and the things that are on show and the experience and things like that on the channel Museum Explorations. That kit I have actually has two of the DJI mini mics and a receiver, so I usually use it plugged into my MacBook Pro, carrying that around for producing podcasts. So the receiver's plugged into that. That does some noise cancellation on the receiver, which is absolutely superb for using in busy museums. We can get some of the ambience, some of the background noise, some of the people talking about the artifacts in the background, but capture the voices of the people I'm interviewing perfectly. So there comes a receiver, a case, a charging case, various other bits and pieces. Some of those fluffy things that you can put on to reduce wind noise, which I've never really had to use. And that's been giving excellent results for those podcasts. I even took a kit to Namibia on motorcycle tour and visited some museums and interviewed curators there. It worked perfectly. So first of all, I'm just going to potter around by the castle, Kenilworth Castle. I'm riding my Honda CRF 1100L Africa Twins, just the base model. And just pottering around slowly. Don't be alarmed by the numbers on the speedometer on this. I've checked it with GPS, a few devices, and it's quite a long way out. So if it's saying 36 miles an hour, then I'm doing close to 30, which I think is probably something to do with the depth of the tyres that I'm using. So I have Bridgestone AX41 knobbly tyres, which I think is kind of 70% off-road bias, and they seem to affect the speedo reading, and that changes as they wear. I think they last about 4,000 miles before I replace them. As they get too worn out, riding off-road, you can certainly start to feel that... now there's Kenilworth Castle. I just concentrate on the traffic. There's quite a lot of traffic today. It's a Friday lunchtime. And there's the castle. We could just pop in to the car park and have a look at this very interesting English heritage site. Much of the castle was destroyed, but there is remaining the keep, which has a really good museum inside it. There's often events here. As well as a resident of Kenilworth, I get free entry. You can get a special pass because it does actually belong to the people of Kenilworth. So let's just pull alongside here. Oh, there's the new visitor centre. The trees are a bit high at the moment, so you can't see too well. I've got quite a few pictures of me and bikes and various things just at this spot. They've been chopping some trees down. Interesting. Funny time of year to be doing that in the spring. So there's Kenilworth Castle. It's an interesting place to visit. Just going to loop round in the car park now and have a look. Oh, where's he off to? Going the wrong way. Yep, he's gone the wrong way. Luckily, I wasn't a few seconds later, otherwise I would have met him as I was entering the correct entrance for the car park. Now, this is Kenilworth, and one thing you do have to watch out for is what you can call eccentric driving. It's a bit mad. A lot of people here drive very big 4x4s, SUVs, drive them fast and inconsiderately. It's a wealthy place. You do have to watch out. Okay, so I'm going to take a left here and get on to... Hopefully I'll take a left here eventually. It can be a busy place. Well, one car driving the wrong way around and the other car just going nowhere. And the poor red car there is stuck. Is it gonna... What is this one doing? Oh, no, it's going, it's not going. This is pretty unusual for Kenilworth because the car will just usually pull straight out into oncoming traffic and force them to stop. Get that quite a lot. People seem somewhat confused about right of way here. Oh, it's going. Oh, no, changed its mind. No, it's gone. Fantastic. Now I'm just going to slip inside here. And here we've actually got the infamous Kenilworth Ford, which doesn't look particularly exciting at the moment, but can fill with water, moving extremely fast, right up to the top of that wall. And I just that a couple of times a year. There's warning signs, there's signs saying road closed. There's an elaborate electronic warning system that I think detects the flood, and yet every year more than one person each time it floods will drive into their optimistically and destroy their brand new £50,000 vehicle. We've seen all kinds of vehicles destroyed. Last time it flooded, there was a brand new, I think it was a Nissan SUV, literally brand new, and somebody had driven it into there. It did what modern cars do in those circumstances. It floated against the wall. So it floated up. Force of the water is quite strong. I've been through it when it was kind of medium height on an R100 GS Paris-Dakar, which is a big heavy bike with low down weight and power. That got through pretty easily. There's always, when it happens, spectators lining the walls as well. That tends to encourage people to be a bit stupid. Spectators line the walls. It's fun if you're on a vehicle that can handle it to, like the GS, ride through there causing a massive bow wave to drown the spectators and hear them scream. I've done that and it was quite fun, but I wouldn't do it very often. Yeah, so the guy's new SUV floated up against the wall, trapped, and they had to climb out of the sunroof. I'm pretty sure the car would be a write-off. It doesn't take much to cause a modern vehicle to become a write-off. Okay. Whoa, there's a lot of traffic. This can be a really nice road. I know some of the motorcyclists come here just to practice doing a little bit of fast corners. But if you're trapped behind slow-moving traffic, it can be a bit frustrating, but just take it easy. This white Audi is moving along at a decent pace. I'm happy with that. There's a nice series of sweeping bends and a couple of tighter ones on this route out from Kenilworth to Beausale Common. It's only a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit as well, but it's still fun. You get a beautiful view of, that's East Chase Farm over there, which is a really nice farm. Does quite a lot for the community. It's got holiday cottages and various businesses hosted there, so it's a very popular place, a nice place to walk as well. Out of the back of the castle, there are some great walks around Warwickshire. Looks like we've got a refuse collection lorry in front, so we're not going to be going too fast on this. There's no point trying to overtake anything. I think there's going to be some riders listening to me saying that and go, no point overtaking anything, are you mad? There's so much traffic. And it's Warwickshire. Warwickshire is such a busy county. There's not really many quiet places. You can even go out into some of the more remote roads. When I say remote, like 2 or 3 minutes from civilization, that's remote round here. You can go out to these places and it looks like it should be, you wonder, where are people going here? Why are they driving around here? There's nothing here, and the roads are still busy. We've got farm traffic as well, and nearby we've got the hated HS2, so we can go and have a look at that and see the British economy being weeded down the drain by the second. An astonishing amount of waste going on there. Every little footpath, every little bicycle crossing has somebody attending it and helping make sure nobody gets run over. Incredible expense. The building, the route I take. So there are 2 cycle paths going from Kenilworth to Warwick University. One of them follows the road and it's fine. Another one goes across country, and they're building the most expensive, elaborate bridge over the railway if it ever gets built. They seem to have spent 2 years so far building this bridge for bicycles, and it's huge and elaborate. Really is astonishing. They are milking the project for every penny they can get out of it, or rather every £1 billion they can get out of it. This is a weird junction. It confuses a lot of people. What's that one doing? He's letting the car out. Oh, it really does confuse a lot of people. Have to be careful about people doing odd things there. Well, it's a nice day. Oh, this one's going particularly slow. I might just have to... Oh, the acceleration of the Africa Twin. I think I still find it an absolutely astonishing bike. Before this, I had a BMW R100 GS Paris-Dakar, which is a very special bike. It's one of the first overlander bikes, one of the first adventure motorcycles, and it's just built incredibly well. 130,000 miles. It's pretty good on the road, quite enjoyable, quite a relaxing bike to ride, and I managed to cover some vast distances. Rode from Oxford to Toulouse in a day once. But off-road, I mean, you can get places on it. Go plod along in a straight line, but it's basically a road bike adapted for off-road, and old technology as well. You can really tell that old design principles and technology was never... I'd kind of reached the limits of it, and the Africa Twin is just in another league altogether. I can ride it pretty fast off-road in quite varied conditions, so I've done a bit of sand, a lot of mud around here, and a lot of nice, dry, gravelly, stony roads with climbs and things like that. And it just handles it. And in fact, one of the things I've learnt is to just be confident. You ride it confidently, stand up when necessary, loose on the bars, steering with your feet. I've got big wide pivot peg Smart 4 foot pegs on it, then using the power, it will just get through anything. And I've just been amazed at sometimes facing some quite tricky, water-filled, muddy bits of trail around here, and just being able to just accelerate through them and just letting the bike do all the work. The balance of the bike is exceptional, especially compared to the big old GS. So the centre of gravity is higher. It's about the same weight. Centre of gravity is higher, but it's just balanced exactly right. Okay, so just going to cut back through some small roads back towards Kenilworth. Not going to go too fast along these roads as well, because we have a lot of horses here. Always being prepared to slow down for the horses or even stop. Sometimes see groups of young people being taught how to ride on the road as well. That's great to see. Okay. There's a bit of a maze of little roads around here, and even though I've been doing this for years, I still get lost sometimes. This is the route that I quite often take. Some really nice houses, beautiful tree-lined road, little sheep farms. Fantastic. So another thing I've learnt about the Africa Twin, it took me quite a while because the GS is so different. It's an R100 GS, so very early. Air-cooled, not even oil-cooled, just an air-cooled bike. It likes to be steered with the feet. And it likes, even on the road, tight corners and that, steering in the off-road bike style, which is where instead of leaning your body into the corner, you stay upright and lean the bike beneath, using the foot pegs to steer as well. And that is what actually works best on the Africa Twin, I should imagine. Lots of bikes like this. Now, there's some really nice walking routes and cycling routes. At Kite's Nest Lane is particularly nice. We've done some long cycle rides as a family around here. Okay, cycle all the way to Warwick and through Leamington and Hatton. So we actually just turned off the route before getting close to Hatton, which has the famous flight of Hatton locks on the canal. There's a nice cafe, and sometimes there's a museum boat there from the Canal Rivers Trust. It's a great organisation. That's the first cyclist I've seen. There's usually lots of cyclists on this route. There we go. So that's me standing and leaning the bike underneath me. One of the surprises of the bike is just how fast it will turn as well when using that technique. Even with these tyres, which are quite knobbly tyres, quite an aggressive profile at the edges as well, good for climbing in and out of ruts. Not the best. Mitus Enduro Trail XT Plus I've used on the GS, and you can effortlessly climb out of deep ruts using those. This will slide along a little bit before popping out of the ruts. There's a cyclist just around the corner, nice and visible. This is a really nice open area. Just, yeah, I'd love to have that house. That'd be fantastic. And Kenilworth Castle is in the distance behind the pylons there. Just coming up to this corner, there's a little fort just around here, which I've only ever seen with a tiny trickle of water. I think further back in the past, it had a proper stream going through it. Particularly exciting. And just around here, there's also the alpaca farm, which is fun. I think that's the alpaca farm where you can go and do visits and walk with the alpacas. YouTuber Nerdy Explorer from Leamington Spa has recently made a nice video about that. It's a nice house, but it's on a bit of a scary corner. I just wonder if they've ever had vehicles crashing into them. There's the alpaca farm just over there. Yeah, that's Fairy Tale Alpaca Farm, where they do walks, experiences, meeting alpacas, and they've got some, I think they're Shetland ponies, tiny little ponies, and some other animals and things you can do. Oh, now one thing I forgot to mention, I'm using the clutch all the time, because I'm not really concentrating because I fitted a quick shifter, and I've never used a quick shifter before. You don't get them for old bikes like the GS, which means I can do clutchless gear changes, change gear very fast because of that. Also really good off-road, not having to move my hands and change the clutch. When you're standing, the clutch lever is at a bit of a funny angle. I don't want to do it too fast on here. Let's just give the cyclist a bit of space. This is where we often get horses as well. Hey. Birds are very sluggish today. There's a really good, I think it's called the Millennium Trail or something, a cycle route that crosses just here, quite a long cycle route for this area. It's the one we use to get to Hatton and Warwick. And a Good Rest Farm in there. Can't get to it by motorcycle, have to walk a little bit, is Second World War anti-aircraft gun emplacements that were put there after the Coventry Blitz, so they were no use during those air raids. But it's quite an interesting site to visit. Now I'm going to slow down. Lots of signs here saying slow down. 40, there's some hidden exits from houses just there to watch out for. Just getting into the edge of Kenilworth now. Here we go. This is a horrible bit of road. You can see kind of lines, linear lines in it, and knobbly tyres don't like that. Feels very strange riding a bike with knobbly tyres through those kinds of lines in the surface. Right, as you can see, no hands. I just put it into cruise control, one of the great things you have with modern bikes. So just under 30 miles an hour, it's reading 32, 33, but that's probably about 28 on this bike. And I can just cruise along happily in 4th gear at that speed. Well, I'm going to have to drop it out of cruise control now. Yeah, cruise control is a brilliant thing, although on 2 occasions, when it's been extremely wet or after I've gone through deep water, the cruise control stops working. And it did it once on a motorway with no warning. What's the post? Always got to be careful with post office vehicles. Oh, he's off there. Didn't see him signal. Post office vehicles can behave in a completely random way. Sorry, Royal Mail, not post office. Show my age there when it used to be the same thing, I think. So here we go, back into Kenilworth. And and the petrol station. There's 2 petrol stations here. The petrol is always ridiculously expensive, and strangely ridiculously expensive at both of the petrol stations from different companies as well. Yeah. I like it in countries, so in Southern Africa, I think all of the Southern African countries, the fuel price is set by the government. And it's the same wherever you go. Which makes things predictable and probably a bit more fair for rural communities. But also means that when the government have to increase the price, they get blamed. So I think a lot of European countries, governments wouldn't like to get into that business of being blamed for fuel prices like that. Whereas we can blame Esso. So this is a very slow, officially 20 miles an hour. Very few vehicles actually go at 20 miles an hour here, except when it's really busy. This is what most people call the Kenilworth High Street because it's a high street. Unfortunately, it has an extremely busy road going through it, so it's not particularly nice. That's very busy. The actual Kenilworth High Street we'll come to in a bit because the High Street is a much, much older street with medieval buildings. It's some really beautiful old buildings there. Like a lot of high streets, it's not as bad as many, but it's not doing well in terms of shops. We have a lot of cafes. It's amazing how much money people here will spend on coffee. Less so pubs. There's a lot of restaurants. To be honest, I don't go to them. There's some nice cafes. So there's one of my favourites is just coming up on the left here, which is the Italian cafe, and further over there's a Waitrose, and by Waitrose there's a really nice Greek cafe that sells good home-cooked Greek food. Yeah, you can see it's a high street, British high street, not very exciting, but also increasingly expensive as well. That fruit and veg shop there used to be really good value, and now we've stopped shopping there. Just it's too expensive. There's Le Harry, my favourite cafe. Okay, so Clock Tower. Over on the right is an area. There's a modern Holiday Inn. It's a fairly decent hotel ahead. So there's a new Wetherspoons. Controversial. A lot of people didn't want a Wetherspoons. A lot of people did. So a modern Holiday Inn there. But over on the right, during the Second World War, there was a hotel there, which on the night of one of the Blitz attacks, you can see all those modern buildings there, that area. On the night of one of the Blitz attacks, was crowded with refugees from Coventry and elsewhere, escaping, whose houses had been destroyed, and it was hit by a bomb, a Luftwaffe bomb, and a lot of people were killed. I think British people thinking about Ukraine need to remember places like Coventry. Here we go, they just drive aggressively at you here. It's astonishing. You can even drive in a car through there. They'll just drive straight at you to force you out of the way. Kenilworth pensioners. So, yeah. So what's happening in Ukraine? That happened to us. It's not really that long ago. Abbey Fields, big park leading up to the castle. It's having a new modern swimming pool built to replace the old one. I think the old one had become pretty much uneconomical to run. So they built, it's taken years to do. I think one of the things that happened was it's in the site of is it a priory, a monastery, one of those things, a medieval Kenilworth Castle. A lot of the land here has history in it, so they started to excavate for the new swimming pool, and of course they found archaeology, quite a lot of it, and that delayed, unexpectedly, strangely. You get archaeology wherever you dig here. That delayed the project. Some beautiful wisteria out. That's the Cross, which is a Michelin-starred restaurant. I have been there twice and really didn't like it. I've been to Michelin-starred restaurants in France, and to be honest, didn't really like them. I prefer something simple, small. Parliament's Peace, which is a big area, nature reserve. You just pull out in front of me, go on. Parliament's Peace, nature reserve. A lot of history there during the... I'm not great at history. I work in digital history a lot of the time, but I can't remember facts. So during the Barons' Revolt against the King, I think that was kind of like 1400 or something like that, Parliament, the British Parliament, actually convened on that land, which is why it's called Parliament's Peace. There's a beautiful nature reserve now. Let's just have a look around. Oh, accidentally beeping. Yeah, Africa Twin thing. You can never find the horn button when you're actually looking for it. But I seem to accidentally press it all the time. The layout of the buttons, the interface design. So it's, I teach design sometimes at the university and teach user experience design, interaction design. Honda are terrible at interaction design. Interfaces, they have not got a clue. It's a complete mess. Actually, quite a lot of vehicles are like that. So I've got a Toyota car as well. Maybe it's a Japanese thing. Got a Toyota car, and that's really badly designed too. For example, the traction control button is in the middle of the heated seat buttons. Just astonishing. Okay, and here we are. Back at Fennyland Lane. Stop recording. Stop recording. Disconnect airbag. I get off the bike. It's a tall bike and I've got a big bag on the back. I actually have to get off by standing on the left foot peg. I checked that with some Honda people and they said it's fine to do that. Okay, there we go.